Stainless steel. It's one of the most commonly used products you can find. Whether it's in sheets, for plaques, silverware, jewelry, pens, all kinds of different products are made out of stainless steel. Today I'm going to share some settings with you, and I'm going to show you how I engrave and I color it on the Aurora LITE 50 watt fiber laser. Today on Laser Nug. Welcome back. Stainless steel was an interesting one because with stainless steel using a fiber laser you can get a lot of different colors, or you can make the metal change color without having to engrave it. So engraving and marking it, so to speak, really become more apparent and very useful, because there's going to be sometimes you're going to want to use it where you want a color, and there's going to be sometimes you want some kind of depth of an engraving. When it comes to jewelry, it's a big deal these days. A lot of people buy stainless steel jewelry for obvious reasons. I picked up some of these stainless steel pendants just for testing and was able to successfully engrave them and or color them, as you see here. For the purpose of the video today though, I'm not going to use those tiny little pendants because I think it's going to be difficult to see on the video. I picked up just a sheet of stainless steel. It's 1/16, got it from my supplier, got it in a bigger sheet, and I had a friend of mine who's got a steel blade cut it down to 6x6 squares so I could do my testing. We're going to use this today so that I can do the settings and the engraves and the colorings in a large enough size that you should be able to see it clearly on the camera. So the first thing I'm going to do is peel off my protective sheet on a nice clean piece of stainless steel, and we'll jump into light burn. So to start off, you're going to need settings for various different materials, and if you haven't yet found the materials library, it's free on Thunder Laser USA's knowledge base. I'll put a link above here at the top right, I believe, or top left of your video, where there's a video that will show you where to find it and how to download it into Lightburn. That's where I've started with. So this library, and here at the bottom under stainless steel, most of these settings except for one are the base settings that were provided to me in that library for different colors: black, gold, gray, and white, and some shades of them. Here's a new setting that I'd ask you to write down and we're going to use today. This setting is at 300 millimeters per second, 90% power, 50 kilohertz, 800 lines per inch, bidirectional fill only. And you'll see it currently says fill mode, but stick a pin on that because you can either use this as a fill or you can use it in line mode. And I'm going to show you the difference today and why it's important. Okay, great. So now you've got some settings for colors. You've got this new setting for either a fill or just an engrave. And I'm going to use these differently on a large piece of brushed stainless steel so you can see the differences and understand, perhaps maybe if you've been trying to figure out why your stainless steel jewelry is not engraving properly, this might be the reason why. Let's do it. So I'm just going to write a simple test phrase. Okay, I've got a font there, and just assuming you're doing jewelry or you want a little character to that font, let's just grab something with character. Just want to use the same one I did so you can see it. Let's use Anastasia here. You've got a little bit of character to the letters, a little bit more shape, and because I'm using the 6x6 piece instead of a tiny 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch pendant, I'm just going to make this maybe around 3 inches. So we should be able to see it just fine there. So the first thing I wanted to focus on is an engrave, a simple engrave. And we're not going to color this because I think depending on how you're trying to test your settings, you're probably finding that you're either getting a lot of scorching or you're getting colored infill. And the reason why is because when all you want is a nice, clean, sparkly engrave and no coloring, you need to make sure, if we come up here, that you are not using a fill setting or a fill mode. You need a line mode. That way your letters are going to be engraved, but there will be nothing done with the inside of your letters. So if I come down here to my new setting here that I just gave you, This is the setting that I use just to engrave stainless steel. No coloring, no infill. no fill. So I'm going to grab that, and just because I like the color red when I'm doing any type of lines or cuts, I'm going to change that. I've got this now as a line, but I'm going to assign my new settings I just provided to you. And you see it jumped to fill because that's where I last left it. I'm going to change that to a line. And if you take a look, there are the settings that I just provided you. Nothing's changed except I made it a line and not a fill. I've assigned that here to just test for you. I can take a look up here at what it's supposed to look like, and you'll notice it's not filled. It's just going to cut or engrave those letters, which looks really nice on jewelry. And I'm going to try to show you these pendants at the end of the video. Not sure you can see them clearly because they're so tiny, but we'll give it a shot. I'm set up. I'm going to go to my laser. We're going to turn the Aurora LITE on, and then I'm going to send this small design to the laser, and we'll watch it work. I have my 6x6 of stainless steel. It looks like I've already focused it, which I did, but just to show you, not only do I use those LEDs, but I also like to use the focus tool because my eyes are getting a little older, and that just gives me a little bit of confidence that I've got it done correctly. I just want to move this right to the corner so we don't waste too much space. You can see it's framed. We're in good shape. And for the purpose of the video, I'm going to leave the door up so you can watch the engrave. But remember, please try to always operate the laser with your door fully closed. I'm going to disable those door safety switches just for the purpose of demonstration. Here we go. My green lights have changed to a flashing red. That tells me the door locks are off. And let's start the engrave. Yep, that's it. That's literally all done. Let's take a look at that engrave. There's what she looks like. You'll notice it has a little bit of oxidation or scoring, so to speak, but it's very surface. So usually just a wet rag, or in my case, I'll often just put a tiny bit of alcohol on a rag and wipe it, and you'll see literally that quick you remove the oxidation or the scorching, if you want to call it that. It's very simple, and now you have a nice, clean, sharp, brilliant engrave, but no coloring. And you'll see I was able to accomplish the same thing on those small little pendants, or those small pieces of jewelry. So now I know what I can do to engrave. That way I've got a nice engraved outline. Sorry about my fingers. Stainless steel picks up all your fingerprints. And I've got no coloring and no discoloration. Engrave is finished, literally that quick. I can send this product off to the customer. But let's say you want to put a little fill in there. In other words, you want to mark your stainless steel. Let's take a look. We'll come back here into Lightburn, and what I want to do is I want to mark this. And if I come down to my material library, you'll see that Thunder Laser US was kind enough to give us a number of different colors. They gave us black, they gave us gold, they gave us gray, actually 2 different shades of gray, and they gave us white. So just for the purpose of the video today, let's choose white. So what I want to do is I want to highlight my design. It already is. I'm going to click on, let's try a matte white color. And I'm going to assign that to my layer and watch what changes. Not only do I have new settings, but it's changed to a fill layer with a number of different changes to produce, hopefully, a white mark. And in some cases, some of these settings I found will also give you a very, very shallow engrave. It's pretty much a surface engrave. It's not deep like the last engrave we just did. But what I've done now is I've changed this to a fill mode, and I'm gonna hopefully get a white effect out of it. Let's run that white and take a look and compare. We're already focused, as you know. I'm just gonna line this up right beside it as best I can. I think that looks pretty good to me. Let's run our white mark. we're done. So we have our white mark. And I must say, that looks nice. Hopefully you guys are getting it in the camera okay. So beside it, I have a simple engrave, nice engrave. Gives it a little bit of a sparkle. But beside it, all I've done on my piece of jewelry, so to speak, or my pen, or my silverware, or whatever it is that I'm engraving for the customer, is I've created a mark. And in this case, I've created a white mark. But what I think looks really nice, especially on the jewelry, is if you include an engrave and you color in the letters or the design. Let's try that out. So jumping back into Lightburn, I have my design, simple words. I already have it set with my white marking, but I'd like to add that nice little brilliant engrave around the letters. So I'm going to double click and I'm going to create kind of a new layer and what they call a multi-layer. So here in front of us, you'll see here are the settings for my white mark. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click plus. And I've now added a new sublayer, so to speak. And here on this second part, I'm going to add in those settings that I gave you at the beginning of this video for doing a clean engrave line. My speed, if you remember, was 300. I believe my power was 90. My frequency was 50. It was one pass. And here, very important, I'm doing a line. And I just need one pass. Got all my settings done. It's a line. So what should happen here is the laser is going to do my white mark, and then it's immediately going to follow it up by doing the engraved lines around the letters or the design. I think we're in good shape. Let's click OK. Let's jump back onto the Aurora LITE and take a look at the output. Grab our stainless steel. Let's just line this up again. Excellent. We're good to go. Let's engrave our cut and fill combination. Yep, that quick. You'll see we've got a little oxidation or a little bit of scoring or scorching. A little wipe with the cloth and we'll take a look at it. Don't need much, just a little bit to dampen it. You can see hopefully you can see that okay. It's just a little bit of scorching or a little bit of debris there on the sides. And that's it. Let's take a look. Ah, there you go. This is why you may want to color fill inside your engraving lines. Look at how brilliant that is. So the first, just the simple engraving, which looks nice. It's brilliant. It gives it that kind of glimmer effect. Second one is just the white fill. And this one here, as you know, we just filled and then we engraved the outline of the design, in this case letters. Much nicer, gives it kind of a crisp, defined look because you've engraved the outside of the design and you've color filled the inside. Stainless steel is a pretty cool material and you've got so many products to choose from. Let's take a look. Just for testing, I just went on the internet and I grabbed a free SVG file of a rose because, you know, there's a lot of roses on jewelry. And I'm not sure again if you can see that. So what I'm going to do is just recreate this on that 6x6 piece of stainless steel. Let me show you what I did. So just to try to keep this kind of simplified and show the steps, I'm not going to do any multi-layers or anything like that, but I'm just going to grab my rose, which was a PNG file from the internet, and let's just drop this down. What did I do my last one at? 3 inches? I think that's what it was. Yep. Let me open that back up. Excellent. So I have my rose, and the first thing I need to do, of course, is come up here and trace it. Yeah, traced beautifully. I think I'm in good shape, or close enough for today. I'm going to grab that trace, and let's get rid of my image. There we go. So I have a rose. Now this isn't one of those free SVGs, but it does actually have layers. So if we just blow this up a bit, here's what we're going to do with it just to play with the stainless steel. I'm going to grab it, I'm going to ungroup it, and I believe, yep, I'm all ungrouped. But let's say we want to make this black, just for contrast. So I'm going to come up into my materials list under black for color, and I am going to assign that to this red layer. And what I want to do is just add a few things in. So I'm just going to maybe grab a few of these pieces here, shift, click, shift, click. I'm sure there's a easier way to do it. Shift, click, shift, click, click, click. And yeah, let's group those and make them a different color, maybe a purple. And in that purple layer, let's make this white. So we're going to come down to our matte white. I have my purple layer there. I'm going to assign it. Okay. So we've got black, we've got white, and let's throw some gray in there. So let's grab these guys here in the middle, and let's make those gray. So I'm going to color that a green layer. Just highlight it, grab my dark gray, and assign it. There we go. I think that's working out. And then we've got a couple of pieces left here in the middle. So let's, oh, I see, I didn't group those, did I? Not that I have to, but let's group them anyways. Just like to keep my stuff grouped. And then we've got a couple of pieces left here in the middle. So I'm just going to grab those, and we're going to grab that, give it a layer. Let's give it, let's go black. And we're going to come highlight our black layer. I'm going to come down and find my gold. And let's assign gold. There we go. So I think I've got everybody in there. I'm just going to grab everything, group it all together. And if we take a look at it, yeah, that's how it should look. So now we'll grab my piece of stainless steel, put it in the Aurora LITE. We're going to place it, and we're going to engrave or mark our colors. But after we're done, we're not going to move the stainless steel. We'll get back into light burn. Here we go. Okay. Let's place that in there. That should work. And let's mark our piece. Okay, now our colors are finished, but we're not going to move our stainless steel. Let's jump back into light burn. Now in light burn, I'm just going to grab my whole design, and I'm going to change it to a completely different color. Let's use number 15. And now I'm going to assign my engrave setting so that it engraves the outline of all of the pieces of this design. I'm going to click on my material library. I'm going to come up to that new setting I provided you here. I don't want to fill though, so I need to make sure that I change that to line. I happen to use this setting for both. I come up here, I highlight my number 15. I'm going to click on my new setting, and I'm going to assign it. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to change that from a fill to a line. Now I have the entire piece highlighted. Jump back to my laser and let's send it to the Aurora LITE and finish it up. We're done. Let's take a look. Microfiber cloth. There we go. And now we've got a rose, multicolored, a little bit of contrasting colors, and we've got a nice crisp definition to the outline around all the different components of the design. So hey, a lot of opportunities with stainless steel and a lot of great settings that I think hopefully you could use these as a base to create your own settings or to adjust to suit your liking. But I think that provides maybe an opportunity for you to differentiate your jewelry engraves or your stainless steel product engraves from others. Nice. So that's a wrap for another video. I hope you found today's episode helpful, and good luck. Have fun with your Aurora LITE this week, and I hope to see you again on the next one. I'm Gord Potter, and you've been watching Laser Nug. Cheers.